What a pain.
Your way of sight.
Let's find worthy opponents next time.
You're wasting my time.
Use a little sparring practice. Is that all you got?
Energy burst!
Dimension Store!
Let's find worthy opponents next time.
You're wasting my time.
Could use a little sparring practice.
That was a fight? What a pain.
Your way of sight.
Energy burst!
That was fun. Ha! No problem.
This will be the last time you mess with me. Let's find worthy opponents next time. What a
I
pain.
can take him on myself.
What a waste of time. Let's go.
You're wasting my time.
Could use a little sparring practice. Is that all you got?
Let's find worthy opponents next time.
You're wasting my time.
Could use a little sparring practice. Psychic Dimension Door!
Shatter me!
sec. I'm not getting too strong.
This will be the last time you mess with me.
Is that all you got?
That was a fight?
Ha! No problem.
This will be the last time you mess with me.
Dimension door! That was easy.
You're wasting my time.
This will be the last time you mess with me.
Sidekick!
Dust to dust!
Sidekick! Dimension door!
Dust to dust!
That was fun.
You're wasting my
I
time.
could use a little sparring.
Energy burst!
I'd have preferred a more worthy opponent.
Ha! No problem.
You're way uptight. Chill out.
Energy burst!
Sidekick! Dimension door! That was fun.
You're wasting my time.
Warned. I won't hold anything back.
Let's find worthy opponents next time.
wasting my
I
time.
could use a little sparring.
Let's find worthy opponents next time.
Ha! No problem.
Sorry, but I don't have time to fool around. That was a fight?
You're wasting my time.
Be warned, I won't hold anything back. Dimension Door! That was easy. No problem.
Sorry, but I don't have time to fool around.
That was easy.
You're wasting my time.
Sorry, but I don't have time to fool around.
Dimension Door! Now you see me? Now you don't. That was fun. Ha! No problem.
You're way up there.
That was easy.
Wait a sec. I'm not getting too strong.
No problem.
Sorry, but I don't have time to fool around.
Dimension door!
What a waste of time. Let's go.
You're wasting my time.
This will be the last time you mess with me. That was a fight?
Give me a break.
What a sneaky move! What a waste of time. Let's go.
You're wasting my time.
Sorry, but I don't have time to fool around. That was a fight?
You're wasting my time.
Warn, I won't hold anything back.
That was a fight?
No problem.
You're way up tight. Chill out, okay?
Better look out now! Scatter me! That was a fight?
You're wasting my time.
But I don't have time to fool around.
All right.
uptight. Chill out, okay?
Let's find worthy opponents next time.
I can take it on myself. Hey,
Retreat!
Gotta know when to run. What a pain.
you're way uptight. Chill out, okay? take him on myself.
Energy burst!
Too late for regrets.
Ha! No
I
problem!
can take him on myself.
What a waste of time. Let's go.
No problem!
This will be the last time you mess with me. Energy burst! Let's find worthy opponents next time.
You wasted my time.
This will be the last time you mess with me. Energy burst! That was a fight?
No
I
problem!
can take him on myself.
Ha! That was easy.
go to the stream and tell me if you hear my voice, because I think maybe I have to be into the stream and just turn the volume up and see if you and tell me if you hear me talking. I'm talking into the mic right now. Anyway, so there's like about a 10-second delay, or I forget the delay. Okay, so Louis the Diviner, Surferio Private Home. He adds 30% of the time. And who was the other? Okay.
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. That's all I wanted. Mirage. So, Fruity Potion. Roger, Mirage. Oh, let's add Mirage then, if she's the one. Okay. She's a useless teammate in terms of combat, but for actual, like, item invention, she's, like, really good for a multitude of reasons. The reason why this blonde girl right here, Mirage, is really good is she has a sizable stat in cooking, crafting, and compounding. Crafting is for making accessories for passive boosts for your build. Cooking is to make health items, different items for in-game, and compounding is what allows you to make other items you can use in battle. There's other things like there's smithery to make weapons, alchemy to make material that you forge into your weapons so to enhance their power. Writing allows you to make books with different things that you can add, like say auras to your that give you passive boosts, or to when an enemy attacks you in this game, like there's a chance that you will send out an anti-attack aura out to them, which could either damage or stun them. So writing helps with that. Synthesis allows you to put things together, and English allows you. What does English do again? Oh, engineering. Engineering does... I forget. And on top of this, okay, so when we look at the cost to make your item, there's this range that you want to look for specific items and how much they cost. And so the reason why we have like this girl here and this girl here is because they're specialists in this specific field that I'm trying to make items in. So she has a compound of 57, and she has a compound of 19. But the reason why I have them is for different reasons, because Millennia lowers the cost to produce things, Mirage lowers the cost and the time by like 5%, which is really good. And then she lowers the time to make things by 40%. So sometimes there's like, for people they increase the cost by like 30 or 40%, but sometimes you can't argue that, so you have to balance out the cost it takes to make them make something with people that will lower the cost and the time. So, let me see. So, Fruity Potion, Roger, Millennia, and Louise. Is it only Louise that we can... So Mirage. How about we add Sophia, and let's see how that works. It's pretty undemanding to make a Fruity Potion, so let's just see if it works. Good, okay. They're smiling. So it's looking at their faces and seeing if they look happy, they made the item, but if they don't, if the time fills up and they look like frustrated or sad, the item wasn't made. And then sometimes they can just fall asleep too. So there's a lot of randomness that goes into this item creation. So you can spend a lot of time here, but the reason why we do this is because you can make items that far outstrip the vendors, the local NPC shops, because you can make items that in quality and in power, the power spike far exceeds what you buy in this game. So this is the only game that I know of where... No, also there's Atelier, the Atelier series. Yes, Fruity Potions! Thank fucking god. Okay. Alright. Now we want about... How many of that do I have anyways? So that was successful. That was successful. So, Fruity Potion. Awesome! Okay, we have all of these now. Now, I'm gonna go into the invention info on my menu, and we're gonna meet this girl here. And this is where I'm gonna file a patent for items that I've made. So there's a chance when you file the patent that it could be released in stores, so that you don't have to make it again. So it's easier to access. So, does this not remind you of the free market? And it's in a Japanese niche RPG where this is being done. I like it. I like it. She evaluates them. It doesn't really matter. I don't really care about the evaluation score. I just want her to release it into the market, so I don't really care.
Sure this is the item?
There's like a ranking system to have like the most things, but it doesn't factor into anything really.
Are you sure that
Just making sure we file all these patents. I think the higher your patent is, the higher your ranking in the market, the more likely the items that you have made and filed a patent are put into the market at higher quantities. I think that's what it does, but I've yet to. There's so much in-depth stuff to this game that, like, this game was made in 2004 or 2005, and it's like only 10 years later people are still discovering things about this game.
There isn't anything for which you can file a patent right now.
There's just so much in-depth stuff happening behind the scenes that you don't see that go beyond just the combat, that like it's impossible to know everything and everything. So for this game to like 100% it, like I've been consulting multiple guides, doing my research, and then figuring out like the best course of action to have the most optimal play.
Oh no, your rank is worsened. Back to work, onward and upward.
Jesus Christ, I'm never gonna get up there. That's broken. Okay, well, whatever. Can't be helped. Alright, I'm gonna go find a few more inventors. Because I know that for the last part of this is just my first playthrough. But once I beat the bonus boss and get my battle trophies for her, what I'm saying here, long story short, is that there's a lot of prep work, but when I actually get to actual questing and dungeon crawling and boss killing, like that's over within like seconds. But to do all this prep work is, I would say 90% of this game is the prep work. So I'm avoiding all these enemies because A, they're all like really low level, and I'm like beyond the power curve here, so we're just running by. So there's no such thing as random encounters where like if you take a few steps then you get into a battle, like you can see the enemies on screen. So run to this little town. Silk Attorney. She wants me to make an item called the Potion of Youth. Fake. So Puffy, Cliff, and Roger or Albel can make it. And how much does it? So we need Puffy, and that only needs 5, so we can recruit the final guy. Okay. Yeah, to recruit inventors, sometimes you just need to talk to them and they'll join your cause. Or you need to have a specific item in your inventory to give to them, and then they will join you as an inventor. Or you need to make something and then give it to them. And oftentimes what I notice, to make specific things for specific inventors of that class type often requires you to make a really hard, really rare occurring item that has like a low probability of happening, but you just got to do it anyways.
No problem.
I can take him on myself.
Let's find
See, like I'm at the point in this game where I just
next time.
breathe on things and they die. So I'm actually at the final challenge dungeon, but even then I still kind of need to prepare accordingly, because if I go in there underprepared, I could lose everything, or you know, I would have to restart back from my save point. So North Sephirio. So maybe I already do have that inventor. Let's just double check if I go here. So going to this workshop, I see all these other inventors in here, but they're they're for alchemy, and I've kind of already used a lot of alchemy. But for other specific class types, I would need to be... I'm still looking for people at this late point in the game. So Louise, Elias, Boyd, Gratz, Michelle, Millennia, Puffy, Count Noppin, Damdamuda, Vanilla, Mayu. I'm just saying their names out loud because like maybe I did see the person I was looking for, but I just wasn't paying attention. Balvados, Stennis, Gusto, Ansala, Chilico. Okay, no, I clearly must have just walked past that guy if I was in that town all the time. Okay, alright, well then let's go save real quick, because this valley, or this open world area that I pass through all the time has a tendency to crash the game, so I'm just gonna... What I did for my PS4 is I installed a lot of games because a friend told me that the reason why some of my games like this crash is because there's so much data on the PS4 that it's causing it to crash. So I had an uninstall spree so I can finish this game without interruptions, and having like less than 200 gigabytes of installed software has actually helped. This game is it's a relic from the 2004, because if you look at the graphics, it looks aged. It looks like from an era of a bygone time, but it was re-released for this console generation, digitally only though. But I'm glad it's here because it was a game I thoroughly enjoyed as a child. But what I'm telling you about like how in-depth this game is, like as a child, like I didn't even bother trying to take on like the hardcore bonus bosses because it just seemed too daunting for my little brain to even keep up with. And now I'm doing it at an older age because like I actually have the patience and the understanding of all these hidden mathematics going on behind the scenes that now I know how to work with it. Yeah. There's a man here that I just need to buy. Okay, not you. First seed. In terms of story, we won't be watching any of the story anytime soon because I've already played the story. I've already beaten the final boss. But next time, because I'm going to be replaying this game a lot anyways, just to get to the Platinum Trophy, that if next time you're here I can show you bits of the story. It has a very interesting premise. Very, very interesting. And the voice acting, in my opinion, it's passable. It's not the best, but voice acting often, it's a 50-50 what you're gonna get for actors. It could be, I don't know why voice acting in video games is at the state that it currently is. I don't know why. At times like this, I wish I had a bigger audience for people to come in so they can like give their 2 cents, because that was fun with that stream Sniper 4. That was fun when he was in my chat.
Yeah.
Giving me insight into the game that, like, you know, it was just a good conversation on top of playing the game. So I want more subscribers like him. Okay, not you. Okay. Ugh, NPCs, why are you so hard to find? No, that's not you. That's not you. There we go. It's this guy right here. Yes. 90,000k or 90k at this point in the game is nothing to me. All right, let's send you to the plantation. Okay. Right now, paternity. Yes. I guess since that's the nearest town for me to do a lot of my inventing before I go back to the portal. Because I'm going to spoil the plot for you right now. This world you see is an MMO. It's an MMO created space that was created by these 4D beings in the 4D world. So this teleportation place that you saw me enter earlier, that is the 4D space. And it's a big plot twist in this game. And the big thing is, like, the 4D beings that created these characters, the characters we're playing as, want to destroy us. They want to delete us permanently for some strange reason. And it's these creations, these machinations that bite back and destroy they have proven that they have their own lives. They have, you know, things that they believe in, and their own galaxy. Like, they're at the point where you can travel planet to planet. There's Earth intergalactic federations in this made-up world that to for their own gods, creators, to destroy them just like that, they're not going to take it sitting down. But I think this pissed off the community at the time, because this is the third game in the Star Ocean series, and it pissed off people of the Star Ocean 1 and 2 fandom. But I like the story for what it is. Because everything is so... everything's weak to me at this point. That's why I'm kind of more so walking past things than trying to fight them, because it's not challenging at this point. Okay, invent. But even when you're at the power level to fight the things, like you're gonna find in this game that it's kill or be killed. Oops, transfer inventors. Get rid of these people. These are all crafters. I don't need crafters right now. Millennia, bring Millennia here. There we go. Are all my crafters here now? Get rid of them. My alchemists can all leave, thank you. So we just need the crafters. Good. Okay, now let's start making this item. Invent. Cliff. Albel. And then Puffy. Actually, we don't really help him make it, and then who has good... Okay, and then compound. And now we roll. We play the lottery. Mirage. Asking for too much. The reason why I'm rolling these numbers is I'm trying to get into a specific range. Okay, and we needed 5 or 6, but who makes this item again? Clifford, Elvo, Pepita, Roger, and Puffy. Cliff and Elvo. There we go. Okay, try this, please, please let it work. Oh, there we go. Yes, we made it. First try. Oh god, okay. I have no specific use for that item I just made, the Potion of Youth fake, but it's used to recruit one more inventor. Now that I have all the inventors for the compounding category, we can make all the items for this specific category. Is it him? Yeah, it's him. Show the Potion of Youth, yes. Okay, there we go. That was nowhere near as hard as it was making the Philosopher's Stone. Okay. You'll see even some of my teammates kind of strolling the streets. I found that to be a nice touch. Save. Because this game loves to crash. So now we're going to begin to synthesize the items I have created now, or to add different parts to what we're making. And with the right setup, we can do this quickly and easily. Compound, specify plan. Press save. Ooh, I didn't know I could do that. Oh wow. Oh, I didn't know I could use store-bought items, and I don't need to waste as much time. See, I'm still learning about this game despite having spent so much time on it. Okay. There we go. There. Beautiful. Specifying plan allows you to increase the effectiveness of certain items. So, did you see what I just did there? When we look at the fruity potion, it now recovers at 70% HP recovery versus what it originally did, which is 50%. So we're literally getting more bang for our buck for specific items in my inventory.
Okay, increase efficiency.
Yep. Wow. Yes, please. I'll do exactly that. Okay. So I'm just gonna quickly look at what this one specific character does. His name is Gaussen, so I want to look at Gaussen. We certainly don't want to use Louise. What about Gaussen? So, okay. I'm hoping as I'm like kind of giving you more like insight into this, it makes more and more sense. Because as a child, when I walked into this, I never interacted with this because it just was so confusing. And do you see how like when you look at this menu layout, there's like hardly anything to notify you of what's going on. That you literally do have to like seek out secondary and tertiary sources to understand how this shit works. Now, I don't know if that's bad game design, but then I feel proud of myself that I've been able to understand the inner workings of this process, but I did a lot of self-research, but there was no in-game tutorial that taught me any of this. Okay.
I still need to double check to see actually how that panned out for them, because if it actually worked, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually placed on one thing that I criticized about that game was the fact that the tutorial wasn't. It left some things out as far as the actual gameplay.
Yeah.
When I was actually playing the game, there were many times where I didn't understand what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I criticized the game for that. Otherwise, it was pretty fun.
Okay. I get it. So I'm using these girls here because this girl, Blue Hair Maria, lowers the cost to specify items by 10%. She lowers time and cost by 5%, and she just lowers the time to make something by 40%. So we're trying to keep things low. The reason why I'm not using this guy is he makes things more expensive, and this guy makes things more timely to make things. And when we're just enhancing the innate passive of items that I have, I want to... It doesn't matter about what their compounding stat is, it matters how fast can they make it and how cheap can they make it. There we go. So Fresh Sage R2. This Fresh Sage it's a trash item that you can get as soon as the game starts, and it acts as like, you know, the resurrection thing when you die. And now I just realized I can recover someone 90% of someone's HP and MP. It gets no better than that, but it does cost to enhance the effectiveness of an item that initially starts out as not very impressive at the very beginning. But in the dungeon where I'm going, where you can die really quickly for like little to no like counterplay, because the bosses are going to get really insane very quickly, I need as much insurance for this dungeon as much as possible. And I like the fact that in this game I have a say over the items I can use. But there's a lot of randomness to this. Oh please, come on. Okay, do it again. It takes forever, it's random, but when you see the final product that you make, it's worth it, in my opinion. There we go. Beautiful. Fairy potion, and at this point, like, I don't want things to heal me just for only, what is it, 30%. When I'm dealing with monsters that can, like, shave off like half of my health in one hit, you kind of need everything you need. You need the best of everything, like right now. So once again, before, like, to actually fight the battle and to use these items, like, it only takes like 1 second, but to make everything ready, to be as battle ready as I can be, it requires a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of backtracking, but it makes that difference in those fights that are like that only go for like less than a minute. There is a method to the madness. There we go. And I've made my weapons like this. So my weapons, my combat gear is sufficient for the dungeons, but it's just my items for this specific dungeon. Everything is gonna matter, especially when I get to the higher floors. There we go. Crafting material. Now, okay. The problem with this game is that you can't have 99 of everything in your inventory. You can only have 20 of everything. I think after a certain point, if you do a lot of these things called battle trophies, if you do enough of them, I think that you can increase the usage to 30, but I wish you could have more than what you can in your inventory. What did I just make? What the fuck? Oh, wow! Beautiful! I matched it out. Cures, incap, and restores all HP and MP. There's no more percentage based. So it's really, do I really want to heal everything? Or do I just want to do a percentage base? I'm not too sure what I want here. How about I just go for everything? Though it's gonna get more expensive, but it's worth it. I'll keep a mix and match. I'll mix match. But as long as I'm not just reviving characters at like 30% of their HP. Okay, how much do I have? Compounding mixes, okay. There we go. Beautiful. Ah! God, that scared me. You! Coming out of nowhere. I'm streaming right now. It's not Dead by Daylight this time. It's a different game. Different flavor. Come on, come on, come on. If I would have aborted the making process, what would have happened was when I don't make the item, but another thing is the thing that goes into making that possible, it gets used up. It gets used up. So if you have a failed attempt at making something, you still pay the consequences for it. Das Juden. 7% recovery. Let's get Maria out of there and get Millennia in there. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh God, please. Make it for me, damn it. Okay, this didn't go out. Okay. Now, I can no longer do it. I need to go buy materials, so that's what I'm going to do. Let's go find a shop, but if none of the shops work, I have another place I have to go to, but it's kind of far and out of the way, but we have no choice but to go there. Not you. Was just there. Sword of the what? Runeblade? Demon Slayer. like that. It's gotta be over 200, no. Yeah, but you see how, like, you can create your own items and you can kind of do stuff to, like, subvert the original, like, intention of how RPGs are designed in, like, giving the player their strength. In this game, the player can create or not create their own, powerful build. Oops, not that. Okay. Yes, yes. And I really wish this game would have been more popular, because it's popular, don't get me wrong, but it's just this game never got like the promo that it should have gotten, in my opinion, and I feel like that's a big crime, because this game encourages so much like the player to go beyond just like research, or to just go beyond playing the game. You have to research to get more out of this game, and the more I understand this game, the more I feel like I'm becoming better as a player. Incapacitation element. What does this do again? Nope. I forget what that does. If I don't know what it does, let's just get it, just to see what it does. Yeah. Yeah, call me by my pronoun. Yeah. Have a cheat day. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, have a cheat day. Like, I'm not even being ironic here. Give yourself a cheat day, because it allows your body to reset its own metabolism. I'm not just giving you made up... Oh, thank fucking God. Yes, the resurrection mist is there. Yeah, there's things that you want. What I mean by that is that when you do give yourself a cheat day, because I just came off 2 cheat weeks, it allows your body to play catch up in a sense that it will give you... Your metabolism has more to work with, because I feel like it's like a fuel station, and you do want to give it fuel every now and then. Don't just... And when you have your times where you deviate from the diet, you won't feel so bad, because when you're intentionally doing it and going back to it, you don't feel guilty, because you know it's all in the plan to getting your better health. Yeah. Yeah, so like if you're hitting roadblocks, don't worry. Yeah, and then just like, you know where you can find the best way to get over the problem for you. So it's all about what you want out of it, but at the same time I'm telling you, like, don't do what I was doing, where I was obsessing over everything I was putting in my body on the keto, and that I realized that our body has a way to circumvent things that don't work with what we're trying to do. So, that's the best I can give you, because it's up to you what you would feel like would work for you. Taste of stew made in those, Tuscany spicy cake, turkey bomb, turkey duck bomb, just gratin, earth and gem, here gem, narrate stone, and just stone. I might damn near go broke with some of these items here, but I don't fucking care. I'm rich, bitch. Okay. Alright. Let's go save again, because in case the game crashes. And I'm glad I can go to that shop right there and get my compounding elixirs to make the best Uber items in the game. Freedom, have you ever played a Final Fantasy?
I've never played, but I've watched a lot. My best friend is a big fan of Final Fantasy games.
Okay, so do you know what the elixir in that game does?
No, I don't.
It completely restores your HP and your MP. So what I'm doing with my item creation is I'm turning a regular trash item like the potion into the ultimate healing item, the elixir. This game gives you the ability to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just discovered this, and see, like, I'm learning still, like, after so many hours invested into this game. It's a rewarding experience. Thank you, Japanese.
Japanese are beautiful.
Did you just wake up? You.
I actually realized I was sleeping when I stepped into the stream.
Oh.
You sound like you just woke up.
Damn you, RNG. Alright, well, can't be helped. There we go, that's beautiful. I had no idea I could do this early in the game. If I would have known what I know now, like, never mind. Yeah, Mr. Milk and Honey. It's like the individual formerly known as Mr. Milky Day, now called Mr. Milk and Honey. Or just call me Honey. Milk or honey. Or Mr. works as well, because I may get bored of Mr. Milk and Honey at some point and turn it to something else. Oh, so it's not a silent stream? Yeah. Yeah, I'm inconsistent. I do realize that Twitch, I know I was entering this before, but I realized I gotta kind of play the game as other streamers are doing it. And what they're doing is they're selling their personality and their thought process, and it's not so much to do with the game. Which I kind of wish it wasn't about the personality, but I realize in this free market of live streaming Twitch streaming, you kind of gotta play by the rules, even if you don't agree with it. But yeah, adding my own flavor to this would definitely work. Where I come from, because I like to analyze these games and to really come by things. I don't try to I'm not trying hard to be funny. I'm not trying to be a comedic gamer. I'm trying to be maybe not an intellectual. I don't like that. I don't like the way that sounds. I've had my moments where I want to be funny, but it's just it depends on the mood, really. Mm. shut up.
Listen, hold on. When you came on, you said that Japanese are people. I was like, okay, that's such a generalization, and it doesn't really actually say anything. And then you said that the blood in the Native Americans is like, to be funny. Hold on. How many have you actually encountered? I haven't encountered a whole lot of Native Americans. I know that's not about what is or isn't in their blood. And besides that, we talk about a lot of different bloodlines, a lot of different tribes,
Yeah.
a lot of different cultures, and bloodlines.
We're gonna have to read you. Okay, oh, there we go. Lower the price, lower the cost.
The Native American tribe would have trickster gods.
Specifically... I see Tree. I see why Tree had to read you. Okay, like which Native Americans? We're not all one people. That's the thing. There's different languages, different tribes. But at least you know the distinction. And see that whatever that trickster hero, it means nothing to me as a Blackfoot. There is, but can you name him? Whoa! Okay, good, gold star. What's the translation? There's another word. You'll get bonus points if you can find the other name that they call him. Wow! Okay, I'm shook. I am shook. Coming in with facts. I mean, you're telling me what I already know, but the fact that you know, you took the time, I'm impressed. I would say you're 50-50 on that. I would say. It's not fair, it's the truth. But that's impressive overall. That is impressive because most non-Blackfoots don't even know how, because they think we're all these magical unicorns, majestic, innocent saints that, like, they don't want to. Kind of watching what I say because I realize that there's a specific guideline that you can only speak in on Twitch. Okay, come on, make what I want. Make what I want. Please make what I want. Okay. And unfortunately, I can't edit this out. You guys get to see the humdrum, mundane stuff that I do. Because what I find most JRPG channels do is they make the game look majestic, but they don't really show you like a lot of the boring, mundane stuff that you have to do in order to help the more exciting portions. Because a lot of people like will talk about this one game, Final Fantasy X, but they don't show you this irritating grinding process to max out the spear grid in that game. And when people talk about that game, I'll always say, oh, gridding and maxing out, you know, everyone's luck stat. And then that's when, because these fanboys, they can't talk openly and honestly. Either they run away from me, or they'll just tell me, like, yeah, that's the worst part of that game. And you thought in the skeptic sphere, in the political conversation sphere of YouTube, that you met intellectual cowards. You haven't met Final Fantasy fans that will, like, kiss the ground a game walks on, but they can never talk fairly about that said game in a sense that isn't just dick riding. And for me, I don't want these type of fans coming in to be my subscribers. I like to have fair conversations and give praise where praise is due, and not just the narrative of a game. Because if you ask a Final Fantasy fan, why they like Final Fantasy VII, because that's considered like the second coming in that fandom. It's often just because, oh, well, Cloud's so cool and whatnot, but it's like there's hardly any reason to. When you ask them specifically, they start name calling or they run away, and so I don't want fans like that or a subscriber base like that.
I'll be intellectually honest. I don't really know much about these Final Fantasy games.
That's fine. You'll learn about them from me as I play more of these games. That's totally fine, and I respect that. Alright, Crystal. Yeah, I'd like to have like a JRPG conversation with other people in Twitch, but I gotta get my name out there and kind of specifically like showcase my brand, which I still don't know what my brand is, but I do want to have conversations about the state of the gaming industry, the Japanese gaming industry specifically, where we stand with RPGs in general, and how even despite like things like the saturation of the current gaming market with games like Fortnite and whatnot, and mobile phone games, that JRPGs still stand strong in all of this. But they do need to be reinforced, and we kind of need to what we can do to really make them appealing to the mainstream, but not so much that like they lower and dumb down the difficulty. They dumb down the reason why I was drawn into this as a child. Because like as a child, like I felt like a game like Mario was like insulting to my intelligence. But the problem to play like games like Final Fantasy VII, Chrono Trigger, Parasite Eve, a lot of these Japanese games made by Square Enix, or Squaresoft at the time, but even other games from the more indie third-party developers that were making Japanese RPGs at the time, with not as much as the same budget, why they attracted me as a child. But yet there's so much mathematics going on, and as a child I was illiterate, so I couldn't even tell like what was happening on the screen, but I was so in love with like the battles and like talking to these NPCs. It was just so much more of a rewarding, gratifying experience. And then as I went into grade school and started to learn how to read and write properly, then I was able to finally come back to these games and get more out of them. But yeah, like if you're asking me, I was never attracted to games like Mario, or Super Mario, or any of the kiddie-friendly Super Nintendo games. I felt like I didn't connect to them. I didn't connect to them.
They were too simplistic for you.
Yeah, and I just couldn't tell like why as a child. I was like, you know, like jumping and like hitting a turtle on the head and then like jumping on like that little Yoshi thing, and I was like, I'm not satisfied with this. Yes, but then I was playing with a game playing Final Fantasy VII, which there's a lot of reading required, and that was just not something that I could do at that young age. But I was still in love with what I was doing. First stage.
Most of these games for kids, it's just spam. They're all age spammers, if you get what I mean. They just spam the story and then they just do the gameplay. Like with Pokemon. I played a lot of Pokemon. I spammed the entire game, spamming A.
I will always give Pokemon its props that it is, in my opinion, it is a respectable RPG. It is at its core system. If you take away the kiddie presentation, it's an RPG. I will always give it its credits where its credit is due, but the fandom is a bit no. Where sometimes like when something is so popular and blown out of proportion that you just don't like it because it's the fandom. There's aspects of the Pokemon series that I don't like, how like they're making it too simplistic now. What is it? And I didn't like the slow burn momentum pacing of the games in that sense that, whereas in this game, like, the action can really hit its gratifying pace, and you can be where you want. Because I know, well, then that could be said for JRPGs in general, but with Pokemon, it's even more egregious because it just takes forever to get the Pokemons you want, to get them to like teach them the moves you want them to teach before you're even like competitive ready. It's just like, if we're talking about prep work, it's a lot of prep work is what I'm meaning, and sometimes you don't want to just do the prep work, you just want to play the game, but you can't do that in Pokemon.
Well, I think after I do the prep work, it's really gratifying to show the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been reading this Pokemon, I'm improving nature, I got this, I got that. You see how good it gets competitive.
Yep. Oh yeah, no doubt about that. So there is something about the prep work of RPGs, and it teaches you, in real life, in my opinion, patience. There's a lot of work, pre-work that you do before you enjoy the fruits of your labor. So we could almost say Japanese RPGs are anti-welfare. So like, if you see why, like, I know Tree was like pressuring me to come play Minecraft with you guys one time, but it's just, you see where I'm coming from as a gamer and why I just, even at Minecraft, like in the early days back in 2010, I could never succumb to that. It's just not me. If I play it now, yeah, I'll probably get like 300 subscribers just like that, but I don't want those subscribers. It's not the audience I'm looking for. And the thing is with PewDiePie is that at one point he said he didn't like doing the content that he was doing, playing the games he was playing. But my thing is, at any point you could have stopped doing what you were doing and played the games you actually cared about. But he was just playing games like the new flavor of the month for clicks. And so he pigeonholed himself. I mean, I'm glad he was able to transition into doing, I don't know what he does now, but I mean, I don't take him seriously. I still don't take him seriously. But that's an example of that. And when I was thinking, like, I asked myself like a week ago, I was like, what do I want out of my channel? Do I want to be the PewDiePie where like I just earn like lots of people, but it's playing games I don't care about, but doing that? Or do I want to do what I did where when I was playing Dead by Daylight, this person came into my stream and then me and Freedom were talking with him, and it was such a fun conversation because we were talking about the game in its inner depth, inner mechanics. And it was enjoyable. The conversation was just so fun. So that's where I'm coming from. And it's like, as Tree says, and I like how Tree is like standing by her principles. She's not looking to be popular. She just wants to have people that see it her way. But she doesn't need a massive amount of people. If it's like, if you could have a loyal following that understands where you're coming from, rather than having a mass amount of people and you're always on the trending and even the news knows about you, but you don't even know your own audience, I would always go with the former. Oh wow. If I could do Pokemon, if I could stream if I could live stream Pokemon games, I just need the recording equipment for it, because I like the PS4 right now because, yeah, capture card, because like right now with the PS4 it has an innate streaming thing, so I can do that in that sense, but to get my capture card and all that, that'll take a little bit more time, but it can be done. Pokemon Showdown? Pokemon Showdown. Was that the Oh, refresh my memory actually. Can't. Oh, yeah. Where you don't. Yeah, you can competitive battle. You can already give your Pokemon the nature and the IV that you want, and then just give them the move you want. And it cuts away like what would take like. How many hours does it go into making that? Like to get the team you want, you can just do it instantly. Yeah, like I never did competitive Pokemon battling on the handhelds because it just takes too long. Pokemon Showdown gets rid of all that waiting, and you can get the Pokemon you want with the nature you want. Yeah, because to do it in game is such a long, boring, yeah. And then you do it all over again. And what Freedom, when we mean nature, different Pokemon can have like different personality traits, but what it really does is on each level up, that one specific stat is increased and another stat is lowered. So sometimes you would want that for, yeah, sometimes you would want a Pokemon that like is really good at special attack, but if you know it's not if it's not really defensive and it'll die in one hit, then just keep lowering the stat that it's kind of useless to it in the first place. So if it's a slow Pokemon, it's even if you give it a speed enhancing nature, it's not going to make much difference. But if it has really powerful attack but low speed, then increase its attack but decrease its speed that you'll never use for it. Screenshot it for me. What Pokemon generation? Gen 6. Okay. Oh, well, if it's Showdown, Showdown has all the generations in one place. It's interesting because each generation, like, things that were OP are no longer OP, and I like this, you'll like this one channel called False Swipe Gaming, and it's this one guy that talks about how good was this Pokemon actually. And he'll go over their entire history of the entire Pokemon franchise, and where they stood competitively. It's really interesting. Some Pokemon that are like useless to a team can be like game changers in another generation. It's interesting. A constantly changing meta. And Nesquik, how old are you again? 16? 17? Okay, and the fact that you find Pokemon relevant shows to me how like kids on my reservation playground, like kids were fighting each other for Pokemon. Yeah, that's what they did. Like no other series that I know of was getting kids to get bloody over who was the best. Oh my god. It was amazing. But it shows me just how relevant Pokemon is, and to see that Pokemon is still relevant, it still has that. No, it never has. So I will never take away from Pokemon's legacy, because when I really get into it, I can get into Pokemon when I really sit down with it, play the game, getting the Pokemon I want. And my favorite thing to do is one of the early starters for Pokemon Black version 2. I got a Grimer really early on, and I turned him into Muck, but the reason why I was using Grimer is because he had one of the best moves, but it's banned from competitive scenes, and it's Minimize. Well, it's because no one... My thing is okay, I know Freedom is like, what? Minimize increases... There's stat boosting moves in Pokemon that... let's take the move called... Yeah, let's take a move called Sword Dance, and Sword Dance will increase your attack stat, multiply it by twice. So what Minimize does, it multiplies your evasion twice. Yeah, evasiveness. So there's the... Yeah. So attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed, evasion. Is that it? Yeah, and I haven't told you guys, and my favorite stat in RPGs is not the intelligence stat, it's not the evasion, no, it's not the health stat, it's not the power stat, it's the evasion stat. Yeah, because I find that, like in certain, like, what game was it, Final Fantasy 11, that it was the MMO one, not 14, the one that everyone's playing right now. One of the best tanks in that game. And remember, like in a game of World of Warcraft, where like it's all about like guilds and like it's the offense and the tanks and the healers. The different tanks in that game were like the health tanks and defense tanks, but there was also the ninja class that could function as an evasion tank. And when you can take the attention of the enemy and they go and attack you and you take no damage because you're missing everything, that's really good for your healer, because your healer doesn't need to heal you. Your healer can focus on the offensive characters or themselves. Because the problem that I find with attack... Huh? Oh yeah. I was like, are you gonna add to the conversation? But you tried to derail it. Anyways, getting back to the evasion tank versus the regular standard tank as we know it in MMO, the MMO conversation is a standard tank that operates by defense and health. Because there's no evasion, they're always getting hit. It may be reduced damage, but it's still damaged. And anything that's getting damaged, no matter how tanky or physically or damage resistant it is, will eventually die after a certain point. An evasion tank takes no damage, and it forces the monsters to attack that evasion, the person that's completely mitigating or completely negating the damage. And so the healer doesn't have to feel like they have to heal everyone. They can heal now the damage focused person, because the evasion tank, no one needs to worry about him. And that's one of the few games where I noticed where evasion could really come into its own. Another example was the Phantasy Star Online. I'd like to stream that at some point. And that game was quite an anomaly in regards to how they approached MMOs in that sense. Like, there was 3 different classes, but it was so interesting because it went beyond the standard 3 class-based system. And so you had the 3 different races. It was the Humars, or no, the different classes. It was the Hunters, the Rangers, and the Forces. And in those classes were mini classes. So for like, let's look at the Hunter, or no, the Ranger class. You had the human male Ranger, and then you had the female human Ranger, then you had the female cyborg Ranger, and then the male cyborg Ranger. Now, when you pick these classes, their genders, it wasn't just that you were picking their genders. When you were picking these specific subclasses of the class, what you really were doing was also choosing what stat you were going to specialize in. So if we look at the God cast, or the Hugh cast, it was the male cyborg hunter. And the male cyborg hunter has bar none the best power attack in the game. So the reason my favorite class in the game was the Ramarl, so the female ranger. And what she brought to the table was mediocre attack, but mediocre attack is still better than no good attack. She also brought the best evasion stat in the game and a respectable amount of magical intelligence. And people would she was considered one of the best tiered characters in the game because she wasn't really special in a multiple party group, but say with a group that if she was soloing, she could do everything herself, and that was what people would use her for, was soloing. But my thing is where I didn't agree with people in that game was how they developed characters, because everyone, in my opinion, was kind of min-maxing the power stat, and you get these little pets called mags, and you feed them things, and as you feed them, the stats increase. So, let's say every mag had the potential to have 4 stats fed to it, and these stats were the power stat, the magic stat, the accuracy stat, and the defense stat. And you could do it in many different ways. You could like completely focus its power stat, or you could do like a 50-50 because it maxed out at 200 points. So you could have 50 in every stat. But what I did with mine was accuracy, because accuracy had such it plays a vital role, and people often attack accuracy, but in the higher difficulties the enemies get more evasive and more fast, and you kind of want to hit them. It doesn't matter if you have like the most powerful like one hit kill accuracy or one hit kill power stat. It means nothing if you can't hit anything. So to balance out your power and your accuracy was really important in that game. And so for me, I just went full accuracy, and people were like, when I would see these tryhards and they were struggling to hit things at the highest difficulty, yet I was having no problem. It doesn't matter if I have a mediocre attack stat. As long as I'm hitting something, I'm okay. And then let's get back to her evasion. Now, her evasion is, once again, there's tanks in that game. There's specific classes that worked really well with the defense stat. But as I was saying, it doesn't matter what your defense is. If you're getting corralled, or if they're swarming you and hitting you and you're only taking little damage. But if there's such a big crowd of them, eventually that little damage is going to add up. With this girl, with her evasion stat, which was the best in the game, I took no damage whatsoever, and that community convinced itself that evasion was the most worthless stat, and I proved to them that no, there was an argument for evasion. But people kept trying to build her, not just her, but a lot of the more offense classes into the male hunter cyborg unit, the HuCast. But my thing is, you're not building these characters into their strengths, and you're trying to make them a mediocre version of a character that you already made up in your mind is the best character in the game. And I was like, he has his purpose, but I don't understand why you say he's the best person, and I won't take that away from him because his attack stat is really good. But when you're using a character that's more geared for accuracy and making them into something they're not, then that, of course you're going to be disappointed, because you wasted their build, you wasted their development, because as they it was more so your mag and whatnot, and what food you gave to the person that increased their stats. But if you build towards their strengths, you would see how these specific classes were originally intended. But it was the community and this I don't know what it was, like trying to blunt force everything and not trying to like take advantage of the subtle differences that characters bring to the table. And me and my friend one time, like, this guy came in and he kind of got mad because of the way we built our characters and how we were functioning, but he was dying more. He died like so many times, and me and my friend never died. And then he left because he was frustrated, and like I just told him, well, I guess you just misbuilt your character, or you didn't take the time to actually learn the character, but you listened to how other people were telling you how to create your character. I'm sorry I'm going on such a tangent here, but there is this thing that in RPGs that I love, and that's when it comes to character development, character build execution, it's more so about, people often will think that to build a character is like a science equation or a math equation where there's only one answer. But for me, it's like an English paper or a philosophy paper where there's more than one answer to go about finding the solution. Does everything make sense? I'm sorry I had to go, I ranted for 5 minutes, but do you get the point I was making? Yeah, now you can talk about Pokemon. Oh, let me look at your team. Oh, there we go. New meta. Oh, Servine. Okay, yeah, you're building him to his strengths. Good. Leaf Storm, Hidden Power, Glare, Synthesis. Yeah, having him giving him the things he needs is good. Gallade, I always wanted a Gallade. Oh wow, that's overpowered. Attack stat, that's good attack stat. Gallade, in my opinion, can either do an attack or a special attack build.
Yeah, but when you get that special attack, it's pretty bad.
Well, because you min-maxed him into attack, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Vileplume, kind of looks like he can do everything.
He's special defensive. He's a defensive and special defensive wall.
Yeah, a wall that can also, he can take hits and dish out damage too.
Yeah.
Okay, this new, oh no, I know Maractus. Special attack, pretty speedy. Oh, an attack. So he can't take a hit, but he can deal damage. So kind of the glass cannon.
Yeah.
Thunderous.
I have Focus Dash.
Okay. Yeah, you have a lot of attackers. Everyone's an attack. Is this for PvE or PvP?
PvP.
PvP. Okay, you may want to diversify your build because just having everyone as an attacker is nice, but you kind of want people to stall. You want Pokemon that can spread out status effects. You want Pokemon that can set up like, you know, things that you need. Yeah, eventually, if I could get on that eventually at some point and challenge you, I'll show you what I mean. But yeah, you kind of have everyone as the attacker, and that's good. That's good in my opinion. But you want to have different Pokemon that serve different purposes. If you're gonna go do it, if you're gonna do a competitive team. Okay. Yeah, Pokemon that can tank, Pokemon that can spread... If it can tank and spread status and heal itself, it's good. One of my favorite is Azurill. Azurill in Water Jet is just so overpowered. And if you have it with the huge power ability, it's disgusting. It can one-shot Pokemon.
Disgusting.
And then Bidoof.
I used to have an Azurill.
Yeah, and then another one, it's the normal variant, is Bidoof with, what stat is it? If you can pass its Swords Dance and then just make it Quick Attack everything, it'll change your opinion on Quick Attack. Because I know Quick Attack is like, it's an early starter move for Pokemon, and will often just like throw it away for other moves that are powerful, but with a Pokemon that's normal, with a normal move, the same type attack bonus is applied, with the same stats, that move may as well be as powerful as like an Earthquake or something. And this is why I love Pokemon, because if you just do your research and you just understand how these inner mechanics, mathematics work, like, any Pokemon can be viable.
That's true.
Because I've seen Magikarps completely rip apart Uber teams with Tackle. I know Freedom is like, what? Yeah. Okay, so you are, yeah.
I am relatively familiar with a lot of what you're saying. In fact, I even jumped on Pokemon craze, which was actually that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was, I just never did it because like the fact that people were doing it on their data plans and then having like phone bills in like the tens of grands, tens of thousands was crazy. That game sucked up your data. One time a girl, like, she took a picture of me and there was an Eevee on my stomach. So funny. How is Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu for Switch? Because I'm thinking, is that just a rehash of Pokemon Yellow, now brought into the current generation? What? Okay, I might just check it out for that. But then I... Oh, okay. Okay. True. Oh, that lowered the price of it significant. Oh wow, she makes it more expensive. Okay, let's bring Millennia back. In my Vietnamese sweatshop, I found ways to make even more cheaper. As I get these racially ambiguous women to do my things, my bidding for me. Oh. If anything, from my gaming channel, I want to be like Styx. What I mean by that is that Styx like talks about anything and everything, and he's not just relegated to one topic. Yeah? Pokemon Showdown? Okay. That was completely off topic of what I was talking about, but yes.
I'm sorry.
Okay, use a Bullberry Potion. Do I want things? It's gonna take a long time, and I'm sorry that like it's not an exciting stream, but this is what I have to do in order to make sure that things are in lining up my dominoes before I make the first initial play.
Oh, thank God.
What was his name? One of my favorite Pokemon was Ludicolo.
Oh, you mean the Mexican? The Mexican Mexican?
Yeah, because you could leech seed them and then do a rain dance and then just surf them to death, and then the leech seed replenishes your health, and if you give him leftovers, like he's recovering like 13% of his health. So if you increased his stats, you could have a mediocre but very tanky water type that can eventually... He won't one-shot people, but what he will do is waste their time and drain their HP from them, recover HP from the rain, and his food, or end the leech seed, and the food you gave him, that he will out-survive everything while killing everyone. The Parasite build. One of my other favorite builds in that game, Pokemon, is it's a really evil build, but I like how it works, and it's called the Foul Play build. And there's this move called you use Foul Play, and then you use Swagger, and then you you kill the person with Foul Play. But what Swagger does, it's a status effect, but there's a big risk in using it. And what it does is you increase your enemy's attack stat by twice the multiplier. And this may sound suicidal, but what does happen is they're confused. Yeah.
I actually have Swagger. I think if I delay.
Yeah. But let me finish explaining. And what happens is in the ideal situation, you've increased their stat, and when they're confused, if they hit themselves when they have a huge attack stat, they'll do a lot of damage to themselves. So they'll kill themselves by hitting themselves. And then where Foul Play comes in, it's an attack that when you use it against an enemy, it factors in their attack stat and the multiplier to them. So either they're gonna die by being confused and hitting themselves, or they die by the Foul Play. Though this can backfire, and when it does backfire, you will pay the price, because you've just given them free stat boosts that give them the chance to completely kill off your whole team. But when it works, it works. Yes, create women, and I will pay you nothing. It almost makes them want to advocate for communism. There we go.
I'm getting my ass handed to me, Mr. Goki Day.
That's you in general. That just generally happens. So she brings on the price. I really more rather care about the price. But I'm at the point when I can get Maria's super weapon that when you defeat enemies, it quadruples the amount of damage you or the amount of money you earn. And I know the perfect place to get millions of money. So you may think I'm losing money right now, but I'll trust you. I'm gonna make like triple that amount you see on screen. Like it'll be nothing to me, but when it's all said and done. Ouch. Anyways, I thank you and Silverclaws for always being present for streams. Freedom. Oh well. I was expecting just to kind of sit here and wait for it, but it's been actually been the first try is really going good actually for me. Oh, come on. All that revenue just going down the drain. Yeah, item creation is a way to go broke really easily. That's why you need like a good float of a couple million to really make use of it. There we go. Resurrection missed. Good. Sexy. Oh, and I had a conversation with a player from Dead by Daylight, and I think I'm gonna start seriously playing as what character is it? The Killers. And why?
Okay.
I do my last Dead by Daylight stream. I play as the Huntress, and I got a merciless. No, I got 3, and I didn't stream it, but I played as the Hag, and I got a merciless kill. I killed everyone. I should have streamed that. I should have streamed it. It started slow, and I was kind of pessimistic because I was doing my daily ritual, and the daily ritual was to lay your phantasm traps, and when they step into them, well, you've seen it summons her, and then the duplicate will stare at them, but you can teleport to the duplicate and attack them, and the daily ritual was like surprise 4 people and hit them out of your teleportation, and so that's what I did, but it took quite a while. she's kind of confusing in that sense, and I had to really learn, like, because I noticed I was putting traps in front of the generators, and I was like, they were fixing those generators that I was trying to do. And I was like, what's going on here? Little did I know that I'm learning as I play these killers what their weaknesses are, whereas before I thought they had no real weakness. And so with the hag, how you stop those traps from surprising the survivor, you just crouch over them. You have to run into them for her to get like triggered. I mean that pun. Yeah, so I didn't know that, so they were walking over my thing. Yeah, it's from motion. But I noticed though, there's other ways you can trap them, and it's like, yes, you can trap the points that you need to watch, but there's other places you can trap, like, if you just trap like a random trap, like in a path that you know they'll run down, that lets you know where they are. So that match, when I should have streamed it, like, it started out very slow, like, I wasn't catching anyone. The people I did catch, like, I would hook them, then I'd try to go look for someone else, then moments later they'd get off the hook, then they'd all be gone, and then I was like, I was thinking they're gonna get those generators and then I'm gonna look like a fool because I got no one. But eventually I learned how to use those traps to their utmost effectiveness, plus the fact that the survivors, what was left was 3 generators, and they were all in close proximity of each other. And then eventually, by that point, I'd gotten over the learning curve of the hag. They thought they were mind gaming me. I was mind gaming them, because they were trying to get me to chase them away from the generators I was patrolling. And then one of them, like, I would chase one, injure one, get her, or chase and injure one, or chase one and down them, and then they think, oh, well, he's gonna, like, you know, if he downs that one, I can finish his generator, and then, you know, finish the generator, and then I can activate the exit gates. No, 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 because what was happening is when I was chasing the distraction away, they would run to the generator they were trying to finish and then trigger my trap, then I just immediately teleport right back, scratch them, and then eventually, like, they had their health kits, they ran out of health kits, everyone was injured, and then eventually I just wore everyone down because I patrolled the final objective so masterfully. And I was like, oh. You'll see my Huntress play. Yeah. Wait, finish it. I was interrupting you. Finish it again. Finish your point.
It's a mental challenge for me to optimize my success.
Yes. And I was like, because at first I thought, like, this, no wonder why they say she's one of the worst killers in the game. But then I realized that there's, where people are going wrong with that, where they were going wrong with her, that I kind of learned is that I have to, just putting a trap in like a random location that's not protecting an objective or your totem is still a really good move to do, because it gives you, even if it's just a path and they're going to run by your trap, because it's not in a choke point. Like, a good place to put it is, like, you know, in front of a hook, because remember, like, when they try to save their partner, they're running up to their partner, and as they're unhooking them, they're still stuck there, which then allows me to teleport there and scratch them. But to put it in a pathway where it's not really protecting anything vital or important, but it lets me know where they are and where they're going. And that's how I won against those players. And, like, they were teabagging me too. They were acting cocky, and I was like, I felt kind of bad, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna get these people. If you teabag me, all bets are off. And I got my revenge. And, like, I learned how to use her effectively and to her fullest potential, even without using her mastered perks, because I was only using a level 1 hag, but I was like, if I had the right killer perks, the right build, like, and the right offerings, like, I guarantee my hag would make sure no one got anything done. It was very momentum based though. The game started out very slow, but when it hit its climax, like they were playing my game. I dictated the flow of that match. I liked it. I liked it very much. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Whenever I used to play first-person shooters, particularly Halo, which is where I first actually developed my play style.
Yeah.
My friends used to absolutely hate it when I got a sniper rifle in my hand. Because, and the reason for that is because every time, for every map, I would learn the optimal places that I could be legitimately of the actual game in the field.
Mm. Oh, definitely. Yeah, because a sniper a sniper main isn't going to do much in an actual, like, in a crazy firefight, but when they're, like, near the firefight, in a good position, like, they can control that fight. Yeah, I get what you mean, definitely. I'm telling you, you might like Overwatch if you give it time, because you might like Widowmaker. Yeah. Like, I'm not the best person to look to ask to. I'm not the best because I'll do some Overwatch streams in the near future. It depends on my mood. Because I'm not chasing. I know if I play Overwatch, it's gonna bring in subscribers. But remember, these are subscribers I don't want. Just to bring in views, though, that would be nice. But to play Overwatch, it would be more like if I'm in the mood for it. But what I like about Overwatch specifically is it's not so skill aiming based as like Call of Duty, Halo, because the characters have innate abilities that you can utilize that help dictate the flow of the match, so I don't feel as inconsequential, because my aiming skills are just not up to par. My reflexes are not the best. Specify plan. Items. Resurrection elixir. Okay, good. There we go. See, and this conversation we're having, because usually I'll just sit and listen to an audiobook, I'll watch a tree stream, but this conversation is helping me deal with this monotonous grinding. But there is a payoff, there is always a payoff. There's like ebb and flows in RPGs. There's points where it's super crazy action, and then there's lull, there's, you know, lulling points such as this, but it's all plays hand in hand. Yeah. One of my favorite channels, and I love watching it when I'm not watching Tree and playing games. It's funny because my family like looks at me. I'm playing a video game while watching someone else play a video game. It's so meta. And it's RPG Limit Break, and it's JRPGs that are speedrun, so from start to the final boss to credits in the fastest time possible. So this game is one of them that is done, and the fastest I've seen it is 3 hours. Oh. Love you. Yeah, you're probably not going to see me until Sunday, or till next Monday. So. Okay. Yeah, good night. Sorry to saying good night to my mom. Okay, let's make it more expensive rather than cheaper. So I like making things harder for myself. Instead of doing 3.5 grand, let's do 4 grand. There we go. Invention. And hopefully as you watch this, it may compel you to want to play it, or to just even, like, you can imagine yourself as me playing it, as you'll get that understanding of the mechanics that you feel like you could play it. There we go. I get it. I get it. My tablets. Oh, those are... Yeah, we need those My tablets. As I look at other items, I'm like, that's another item I would like in this bonus dungeon. For the final bonus boss, because, like, I heard this boss herself can take, like, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and that's with the best gear. That's when you're hitting the damage cap. So, like, I'm thinking, I need everything in my corner. I need everything stacked in my corner. I need it. Because it's gonna matter in that point. We're doing like an hour and a half worth of prep work for like a battle that will take maybe, if I do everything right, into a 10-minute battle. Oh, Jesus. I'm regretting never like not streaming my Final Fantasy X-2, but then I didn't know if I wanted to do this. Ah, those are missed opportunities. So mad at myself, but hey, we learn from losing. The time I'm spending as a streamer now, I could have been doing earlier, years ago, and I would have a bigger audience by now, but I can't spend time regretting. There we go. And plus, I'm at the point in the game where like money is no object to me. But do you see at my coins, like, it's going by very quickly, and every now and then, like, just randomly, like, I'll lose, like, 10k just like that, even if I'm just making something that costs, like, a few hundred to make. Because I think, like, when you use these facilities, there's a specific fee that's paid after a certain interval of time that has passed, that it's bigger, or it's, I forget how it's multiplied, but that also factors into the space that you're using. I like how they designed it, but it is expensive. I feel like... I mean, I don't know how like a mass production facility would feel like, but maybe like a music label. So like, I'm a music label with millions of money, millions of revenue, and I'm using these artists in a studio, and I'm paying the studio time as well as the fee to record the song. Does that make sense? Yeah, I know like in manufacturing like of goods, I don't know how that works, like to pay the fee for the factory, but to also pay the workers as they're working to produce that. Maybe is that the same analogy that would work? Yeah. Yes. Yes.
There isn't anything for which you can file a preparedness now, saves grief later. There's been a chance. Don't forget to collect.
Totally. And since I don't actually own the place, that I don't own the manufacturing space, I pay that fee. That is. You know what? I wish you were on this PS4 console so we can have a party voice chat. So your voice can be in my stream. So we have our little intellectual gaming conversation. Because I don't think they hear my Discord conversation. Yeah. Yep. It would be a worthwhile investment. Yeah.
I think it's very important because if they don't understand the context of the things that you're saying, you can be easily misconstrued and misunderstood.
Yeah. But I like how just this little item creation, because no wonder why I didn't understand it as a kid, because it brings so many complex understandings of what we know of capitalism and the free market in a niche Japanese RPG game. That very little, it has its niche cult following, it's called audience, it does. But a cult audience doesn't translate to the wider mainstream. This game taught you something about the free market in its heyday back in 2004, but people paid it dust. It sold well in Japan, like it probably sold like a good successful blockbuster in a homogenous society like Japan. Like 300,000 copies of one game is considered a good success. I understand like a game for like Mario in America, millions of that game is good, but remember, for a Japanese RPG from a third developer development company that doesn't have the clout like Nintendo or just Nintendo, because they're juggernauts in the industry, or Blizzard. Millions is not what they're going for. They're setting their expectations low because they only have so much of a budget to work with. It's a smaller scale studio, so a small number, like maybe 300,000 copies in Japan alone, that's good. So maybe 1 million copies or 900,000 copies sold in America is just as good. I always wanted to know how sales figures factor in Japan and in America, because clearly Japanese RPGs, like the Japanese cannot get enough of this genre, and when it has such a good supply and demand audience, then it gets shipped over to America, where us American fans get to have our own authentic experience with the product that was made, and then eventually these gaming companies will realize, well, the Japanese love it and the Americans love it too. Let's keep making more of this style of game. Let's make different types of games. What is drawing them to this experience than, say, the Mario competitor thing? And I like that with games, is that there's so many games, so many different genres from different companies, different nations, that there's something for everyone in video games. But my problem with video games now is that because there's something for everyone, I don't just want everyone in my subscriber base. I don't want the Minecrafters. I don't want the Fortniters. That's not my audience. I mean, if they want to come here and see like what JRPGs can do for them as a gamer, like I will more than happily try and argue that case. But just for like the random, like, you know, the riffraff to come in just to give me views, I don't want that. And even some JRPG fans that can't even like think critically about the games that they enjoy, I don't even think that I want that type of audience as well. I want fans that can, you know, think critically about the genre that we know and love as a community, but to have more honest conversation about it rather than saying, oh my god, Final Fantasy can do no wrong. Actually, in fact, although Final Fantasy is like, it's the most, when one thinks of Japanese RPGs, they think of Final Fantasy. Like, it has that moniker to it, but my thing is with Final Fantasy, it's just because it's the one that everyone recognizes doesn't mean that it does tropes in Japanese role-playing game well. It hasn't even pioneered any ideas. How can I draw this in another way? Say like one company like that we like that makes like fries, McDonald's and fries. Yeah, everyone thinks of McDonald's when it comes to fast food fries, but there could be other companies that make fries that are so much more flavorful, the spice is good, the spicing, the type of oil they use is better. Not to mention though I have my connection to McDonald's fries, but I still like these other companies and how they deal their fries. There. I'm just looking for another. I'm glad that the items I'm trying to make are already in the store, so I don't have to waste time mass producing them. I like that. My tablets. So it cuts time in the production process. But yeah, it is. You're kind of seeing the problems with when you can the producing, selling, creating process. But this is kind of, it's a metaphor for the real world. And as our previous discussions and how video games, like any other form of media, borrow from the real world in things that we do from day to day. Sleep. Okay. I don't want to synthesize any weapons right now. I think I've done all of that. But that's another problem, and that because the synthesis materials in this game, in order to get the most overpowered weapons possible, you need synthesis materials. But the problem with synthesis materials is that they're not buyable in any store because the game knows that you want that material. But there's a way to do it, but it's kind of boring and not fun to do, is I set up a turbo controller and just let the game play itself as I sleep at an inn. I wear this specific, what's it called? This accessory called the Santa Claus boots, or Santa Claus boots, and then I just sleep at an inn, and there's a chance you will get an item. Oh no, you do get an item, but in this, the random item can be different, but that's the way you get those really rare materials for your weapon farming, but I'm not going to be playing that because that's just not fun to do. But we do it because you restock your way. But I found that out by self-discovery and experimentation. I wish I would almost feel like inspired to make a guide for this game, because the guides I've had to cite and source many guides and do my research from all those guides and then put forth my own play experience. But the fact is that not one guide like did it all for me. I would almost feel like I would like to consolidate all this information, because I feel like I've discovered things that these guides I don't even think cover. This game is so...
That sounds like a series.
I would almost maybe even do tutorial videos, because like looking at this game, it's 10 plus years old, and yet I still don't really see a whole lot of tutorial videos. Because there's so much happening in this game that, like, I can tell it will alienate people because it's just so rich and it's just not accessible.
Yeah. In fact, whenever I play, although I haven't been playing it very much lately, when I was playing Minecraft, it's like, I know right now that there's so much more to that game, even though its general mechanics are very simplistic. The possibilities in that game are far beyond what I can even conceptualize at this point. So, I understand that, like, whenever
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, you have to go to third-party information centers for information providers. Figure out more about the game.
Yeah.
What's more about it.
And sometimes I think like, well, it leaves the discovery up to you, because sometimes people don't even bother and they just kind of self-discover, but there's things you can miss.
Yeah, so much information. So it actually makes the game, it can be frustrating because you know that when it comes to mastering, that's a very high bar.
Yeah.
That being said, because that bar is so high, it also has a lot of latitude in how to actually develop within the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different avenues for you to move forward with, and have lots of fun.
Yes, yes.
Hey, wow, crap, what's that?
And you feel like when you've taken the time to research and you can learn the game mechanics beyond what you initially understood them as, you feel that sense of reward. You can pat yourself on the back.
Yes.
That's what I like. That's what I like. I like this game for. Or games like this that don't hold your hand and explain everything and dumb down the game or to insult your intelligence. It's up to you what you want out of the game, and so you go that extra mile for discovery. Yes, yes, that's totally it. Totally it. Okay, this would be one game that I would for sure love to upload to YouTube in its full context, and I can change. I noticed that from when I upload from Twitch to YouTube, I can change the title, because when I upload Twitch, that's the start of this live stream. I don't know what I'm going to encounter because things change, so I can kind of have like a kind of a stock title. But for YouTube, I look at the game that I played and I was like, oh, this and this happened, and then I can go in the description and say, if you guys want to see a really good, hand sweaty game, look at skip to the 3-hour mark, and you'll see my game as Kate Denson versus the Doctor, and I barely make it out with the skin on my teeth. So I like that. I like that I can do that. Yeah.
I'll jump back in the stream when I get there.
Yeah, I'll still be doing this. I'm not going anywhere for a while. 9:23. Alright, well, it's just me stream. So I'm going to continue doing this item creation, but thank you for the viewers right now and future viewers. Thank you very much for staying by my side. 60%. What else can I do here? Here we go. Those are good. One person. I'm just out of boredom. Let's see what that does. Oh, that's good. That's good. I learn more and more. So what are the more irritating? Paralysis is important to combat. That's not what I wanted. No. No. I don't think anything freezes me either, so let's not worry about that. Bubbling potion. Petrifies an enemy. Freezes an enemy. Fruity potion. Everything's fruity now. I can still keep going with that. Now I want to save here in case it messes it up, because I put a lot of resources into that, so let's just double check. All that money and those materials I used to do that will go down the drain. But I was really glad that I'm doing this stream to kind of show people, showcase the confusing item creation in this game. It can be very not fun, and I often I don't find a whole lot of videos on it, but I want to show you exactly what it does for any future players of Star Ocean, whether you're playing on PS2, on emulator, or on PS4. Hopefully you can use this as a guide, maybe not a guide, but as a way to show you how to get the most out of your items, because I didn't know this at the time, and now I kind of